All right, it is Monday, November 13th, and this is the Charlotte Rink Building Initiative, nicknamed RBI. We have a few agenda items to hit tonight. We have myself and Bobby Arcus who are on, and then Cordell has joined as well, who's a member of our roller league, and may be contributing as well, but primarily here to observe. Yesterday, we wrapped up our fall league for our adult ball hockey. I guess I'm going to turn some of this over to Bobby, but my observation, I mean, super close games. I think like half the games or more went to overtime. There's only the first game finished 2-0, and I think every other game after that was a 1-goal game. So if you want parity, if you want excitement, I think we accomplished that in yesterday's A and B divisions.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then I think good feedback from everybody that was there, especially those people that were kind of brand new to the league, have never been involved in that before. So it was really nice to just see everybody show up. A couple of different food dishes up there. So glad everybody got their fill on that type of stuff. But yeah, really good end of the season wrap up, which kind of leads into anybody that is in the league should have received an email from me early this morning, just kind of hitting on getting some feedback from the season. So already a really good response right there. I think we got pretty close to almost half of the B division and a little bit less on A division. But if you did get that email, please make sure you're taking the survey because we Josh and I fielded a ton of feedback during the year about how we could get better. But we would love to have that in writing because it's just a little bit easier to act on when you can see everybody's opinion in front of you at once. So just, make sure you're taking that, and there's some free form field in there to put in whatever you want to put in. So take a look, try to have that in the next couple of weeks.
Bingo. And also to be noted that we're going to take that information and we have a committee that meets, I guess we nickname them the competition committee by now, but just between seasons, sharpen up the policies, take the feedback, how can we make it better? And then just so everybody knows, we're targeting, I think we're calling it an end of January start date to Winter League, moving through like roughly April, and which means registration will be up definitely before the holiday or before Christmas, sometime in December. It actually probably closed before Christmas because we got to get jerseys ordered and all that stuff. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, we're excited. We're also excited to kind of shut it down the rest of the year, minus one of our biggest tournaments, right? Which is a good segue into that part of the discussion. Bobby, did you want to give an update about the Almost Winter Classic, which is our ball hockey tournaments of the year?
Yeah, so we we sold out our first 8 teams in a little over 11 hours. So then had enough folks join the waiting list to actually be able to open up to 10 teams. So right now we're sitting at an even 10 teams. I think there's one or two people sitting on the waiting list. I'd be surprised if they didn't squeak in based on some availability. But if you have not signed up and you would like the opportunity to play, still make sure you're signing up for the waiting list. Worst case scenario is you don't make it in, we end up refunding your registration, and that's it. But if you do have any desire to do so, please sign up here. I'd say the end of this week is when we'll probably start trying to close some of that stuff out, just to make sure we've got time to plan for everything appropriately. But yeah, we're looking at 2 weeks from this. Yeah, 2 weeks from this Saturday will be the tournament. And if you already are signed up for it, please go back to the registration. There's a link out there to sign up for like a potluck, basically. Be really helpful if we can get a bunch of people to contribute there and really turn this into a big celebration at the end of the year.
Hell yeah. And I happened to just hang up with somebody from Raleigh who was asking about it, that wanted to know if there's still room. So we might get a couple last minute registrations that are some surprises, which the more the merrier. This is already the biggest tournament that we'll run. And hopefully the tennis court gets preserved for another 2.5 weeks here so we can make sure we have access to that.
Yeah, we got it. We got it at least. We have it reserved on the books. Whether or not they decide to go start construction is to be seen.
And before we get into some of the other divisions of CSHL, let's stick with the adult ball hockey theme. We have an update for our National Ball Hockey League hopefuls. We kind of set a self deadline of this past weekend to submit a form. regardless of how many emails we send out, I'm finding that people sometimes don't read them or aren't aware. So just one more message to get the word out that there's a survey available checking people's availability and their intent to participating in the 2024 season. Some quick high-level details, and then I'll turn it over to Bobby to share whatever's left over if I don't steal all the details he was going to share. April to July is the season. January first week is the first roster freeze date where we have to submit rosters. So we're planning on using the next month and a half for tryouts and just commitment levels from people. And then March is the overall final roster freeze. No more roster changes after that. So there's still some details up in the air about how the division is going to work. The overall schedule, we're getting close. We're leaning towards Sunday games, following our format of a triple header, tournament style league where we play a 9-game season, and 3 weekends we go down there and play three games per weekend. Some whisperings of potentially playing at the YMCA for a game or two or a weekend, and those details are still being worked out. So if you would like to play and you have not submitted a form, please ask us about it, reach out. I'll also include it in the notes here of this video. And even if you don't feel like you're worthy or can make a roster, one of the things we're considering and leaning towards is making 3 teams. So there's a need. There's a need for role players, and there's a need for people who, it's not just the best or top talent. If you have a way to contribute to a team, we're going to get a healthy look and also communication from the coaching staff. So anyways, that was a lot of details. I don't know what else you might have to share, Bobby, but go ahead.
No, I think that's really it. I think just to tack on to, if you know people that might be interested, even have them sign up, and it's at least a good way to make a connection. And that way, let's, in the event we don't do 3 teams this season, I can almost guarantee you we would next year, because of the influx of different people that are in the sport here. So it would just be good to have that connection now, and that way we can circle back with people next year.
Absolutely. I'll shout out one particular member, Quinn Stromitis, who's a product of our youth league, has since left, and I think he's playing on the Queen City Royals. He signed up. He'd be a perfect person to share spread the word and bring more people. We want more ice people, more people who might not know about how fun ball hockey is. So shout out to Quinn if he's watching, or if he's watching this, or somebody can send it to him, and see if he can get a few more people to sign up and come join us. All right, so that covers that. I would like to share our intentions shifting a bit to our roller hockey. Let's start with youth first, and I'm speaking slowly and stalling because I'm pulling something up here, but we are all set to run our second youth roller clinic, backed by popular demand. Got a lot of healthy feedback from parents who helped get the word out for this. Here's a quick snapshot. The registration just went up yesterday on our website. So Sunday, December 3rd at 2 p.m. We'll run another clinic roughly in the ages of 7 to 13. We'll take some people outside of that, but go about an hour and a half. We'll get some instructions in there and run some scrimmages. We had a blast when we did it a couple weeks ago, and people were begging for one more clinic before the end of the year. And then we're going to focus on how do we expand that in 2024. We got some plans. A parent pointed out to me, like, maybe like a frequent tournament, like every month, every other month, might be a good way to go versus like a league that people might find it hard to commit to. So I really like that idea. Just kind of get the tournament theme going, and then we can maybe think about traveling and going elsewhere to play in tournaments. But maybe we start hosting some here, see if we can get some out of towners. But for the most part, attracting some of the youth talent that plays ice and maybe even ball hockey to play in some youth roller tournaments. So I know that there's a whole community of adult roller guys that could help us spread the word, and probably have kids out there that would be interested in that. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some more info over the next month or two about what we're doing in 2024. That's youth roller. Speaking of roller, our roller, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be over, but our adult roller championships are tonight. So I think the red team is up 1-0 after a final minute goal to put them up. I saw a video on our Instagram channel the other day. Unfortunately, I was not able to be there, but they're doing a best of 3 series, and games 2 and 3, if needed, will be tonight. So that's why this is being recorded a bit early, so I can get over there and be involved over there. So yeah, by the time this comes out, we'll have a champion crowned, which will be super exciting. And they're already in the works for what's next, which I'll talk about in a second. But excited to see the culmination of the fall league season for roller. Haley Gordy is doing a great job. She wanted me to pass along the word that there's a handful or a couple registrations that are open right now. First of all, Winter League registration is open, end of January, start date for that. It'll be at the YMCA, and it's already been open for almost a week, and there's quite a few registrations. I think we're over 40 at this point, which is awesome. So I think it'll be a victory to just expand what we did this season. There's 5 teams. If we get 5 again, that'll be great. If we get more, even better. There's a not so icy pond hockey tournament that will take place Saturday, December 9th up at Waymer Park, called a pond hockey tournament, more for like the style of goals that we're having, doing like I think a 3-on-3 like sideways is the way they're thinking of doing that. I could have that wrong, but I should probably look at the details. But yeah, registration is open right now. And then lastly, we're also hosting a mini season that will take place December through January for people who just cannot wait for Winter League to start. And what's cool about that is it'll be a bit of a hybrid. So you get some of the action on the Huntersville Waymer hockey rink up there. If you've not played up there, we're really enjoying that on the ball hockey side of things. But we did get confirmation that those plastic dashboards are conducive to a puck. So that'd be cool to get some feedback with how that goes. So hybrid between that rink and the YMCA. So some games will be played in South Charlotte and some will be played in Huntersville. I think that's everything for roller. Maybe I'll pause in case Cordell has anything to contribute. Maybe he can share his experience this season or what he liked about it. Or he doesn't have to share anything, but we'll leave space.
Hey, yeah, honestly, I love that league over there. I haven't really played much hockey in the past 6 years, but that's the only league that I've completed in the past 6 years. I really don't have any complaints about it, though. Everyone involved does everything they can to make it the best. And I mean, every time I go out there, it's a ton of fun. So the only thing I don't like about it is like with the YMCA restricting when it can be used. But that's out of your guys' hands.
Yeah. Was there another day that's better for you, Cordell, or what does that look like?
I like the weekends, but I was just thinking more rink time, really.
Yeah. Yeah, they're first of all, we appreciate their generosity just for giving us what they have so far. We continue to build that relationship, and it seems every time we ask for more stuff, they're pretty open to it because it's going so well. We leave it cleaner than when we show up, which I think is big. And we're just getting a lot of good feedback, like Cordell just mentioned, about just the people's experience level with it. So, but yeah, that's one of the barriers that we face, and that's the purpose of having this meeting, is that we want to eventually build our own rinks.
Yeah, definitely.
Somehow, and on whatever lane that we can have access to. So I have a couple updates that we'll get to in a couple minutes here that we'll just kind of shed some light on what that might look like. All right. Thank you, Cordell. That might be a good segue into Matthews. So Matthews, North Carolina continues to be one of the few parks and rec departments that seems open enough to field our needs and our desires for rink building. And I guess the update to share tonight is that I have a meeting on Wednesday. Bobby, I'm checking to see if you're on. Yeah, you're on the invitation. I can't remember if you said that you could make it, but
yeah,
Wednesday afternoon.
My day shapes up to be, but the goal is to try to be.
Yeah, so Corey King is the Parks and Rec Department director over there, who loves what we're up to, what we're doing, is on board with us. We're just kind of learning some of the red tape that we and people like him have to cut through to get the approval for something like that. So we've been keeping up some good momentum. We've had conversations with him through the summer, and we scheduled this one because it was about a week or two after their elections. So the board is going to have some turnover, and we're going to check in with him to see how much turnover and what that new board looks like and how to best approach them about some of our needs. The main thing he drove home when I previously spoke with him is that we need to do our job to create the gap between the demand that there is for hockey and the infrastructure to play. And we in the hockey community are all very, very well aware of that. But people who might make the decisions on approval for our rinks probably do not know that. So I'm going to ask them a little bit more specifically about how we do that. Is that attending board meetings? Is it sending handwritten notes to the board members? Like, how do we get their attention? How do we show, how can we leverage our youth program to show up and show that there's kids involved here? That seems to gets people attention there. So anyways, I'll have more updates the next time that we run one of these meetings, but another meeting this week with Corey. So I'm looking to go in the right direction there. Also to note, we're gaining allies inside the YMCA. Had a nice discussion with Tom DeFeo. Some people in the roller community know who this is. Tom is the one who donated, I believe, technically the funds to build the rink. It's called the DeFeo Family Hockey Rink at the Morrison YMCA. So that's the rink that we're playing on. And just got some details about his intentions. You know, when he actually donated it, it was in the like 2006 timeframe. I think his kids were involved in hockey. His son currently, I think he said he works in like the Florida Panthers organization down in Florida. So it's kind of cool. But he's not currently around here, but he loves what we're doing. He wants to help us out. We mentioned that we're in the middle of, you know, quoting and perhaps getting approved tile at the rink, which would be a game changer. And then there's a few other things that we got on his radar that he's going to be an ally for us. So he used to serve on the executive board there. He also has connections with the executive director, and he's just involved. He donates a lot of his money to the YMCA and likes what they stand for. So we're going to continue that relationship and see how else he can help us. So and he sounds like a great guy. I met him for the first time and talked to him for like 45 minutes the other day. So he's a hockey guy, and we all need to stick together, as we know. So excited about that. And then one more agenda item that I had, just youth league for ball hockey. We had a rain out, unfortunately, Saturday for our league finale. So it was about a 50-50 call in the morning. I just hate when people drive so far and then it rains and then we're in a delay and it sticks around and we don't know what to do. So we ended up canceling it. And I heard from somebody up there that it was like absolutely pouring by like 10:30, 10:45. Bobby lived right next to the rink, right? So that's confirmed. Yeah, so it was the right call, but the problem is that we have conflicts over the next few weeks. I'm actually out of town this coming Saturday, which is probably the most likely week that we may schedule or reschedule. If I can get my other helpers to help out with that. The week after that is Thanksgiving weekend, and then after that is our tournament. So we'd be looking at like December 10th or 9th, I think, is the Saturday is the sole rescheduled date. So we'll be in touch with our youth league members about that. One thing I want to make clear is that you know, I traveled a bunch in the fall and I probably wasn't as present as I'd like to be. I'm going to make you know, youth more of a priority in 2024. We're going to do things a little bit more organized, get some clinics involved. Be a little bit cleaner with that communication. So we've gotten good feedback. It's maybe just a couple of things that we could do a little bit better, but I want everybody to know that that's on the radar and we'll make some improvements this upcoming year here. So yeah, overview of the youth schedule. So potentially get that makeup game taken care of. Then we're pretty much done for the year. A lot of questions about winter league. So same type of timeline for roller and ball hockey as far as the adults are concerned. So end of January season start, which means like early December registration opening. So we're just a couple weeks away from that. Keep an eye out for that. And with that, I will take a breath. I can't think of anything else, but usually other things come up. Anything else noteworthy that I'm forgetting, Bobby? Ooh, I do have something. Nothing from you?
No, you're good. Good.
We're wrapping up our interviews for the community member parents board position. So that is the last vacancy that we have. We had 3 candidates. So we weren't sure we were going to have one at one point, and we had 3 people throw their hat in the ring at the last second, and all like quality candidates. So we'll wrap up those interviews this week, and then we'll have some more information for them and some announcements probably maybe before the end of the month. If we can get it in December, will be their first month to start with us here. Okay, I think that's it maybe now. Yeah, I think that's about it. still buzzing after, you know, we had our award ceremony yesterday. That was pretty cool. Oh, and shout out to the Roller League gave away their first sportsmanship award named after Sean Mahosky. So that was pretty cool to see that. Want to make sure I get his last name right, but Brandon was the recipient of that. I think we have a picture. Let me pull that up real quick. And Sean's brother Andrew was the one who presented the trophy. So a bit of an emotional share there. Here's a picture. Brandon Benenato, or I'm sorry, Greg. I'm thinking of Brandon Benenato. There's Greg Benenato. I'll have to ask him tonight how to pronounce it. Congratulations to Greg, though. I've met him a couple times in passing, and I know him by first name, but awesome guy, great hockey player too, and a well-deserved recipient of the Sean Mahosky Sportsmanship Award. So good looks to him. All right, that will be it. We'll wrap up, and I think 2 weeks is the week after Thanksgiving. So if that gets bumped, I will let everybody know. But otherwise, we'll see you again in a couple weeks here. Any last words, guys?
All good. Appreciate it.